Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for checking out my channel. I really do appreciate it. I'm currently just east of Yosemite National Park photographing this year's fall color. And I'm using my Rolex Explorer II with the polar dial to time my camera exposures. Let's go exploring. Follow me. If you're new to my channel, my name is Cheyne Walls, and I make my living as a fine art and nature photographer and explorer. And I truly depend on my Rolex tool watches when I'm out in the field, because as you can see here, I use a technical camera, nothing on it's automatic, so I use my watches to time my longer exposures. So what we're gonna do on these next couple episodes, if you saw my last video, I talked about my watch collection, and I need to whittle it down to maybe a 2, 3, maybe even a 1 watch collection. And as of right now, I feel the Rolex GMT Master 2 will encompass my 3 Rolexes that I have in my collection now. The Rolex Explorer II, the Rolex Explorer 40, and the Submariner. Over the next couple weeks, I'll be figuring out my Swansong. Some of these watches, it might be the last time I really have them out in the field. I just can't justify having so many watches, since we're gonna be traveling here in the near future a lot. I don't want to take a bunch of watches with me. I can't justify having these watches, locking them up in a bank vault, just collecting debts for a couple of years. It doesn't seem fair financially. I can't justify that either. So my travels over the next few weeks or months, let's see which of these Rolex watches I can't live without. Hopefully you can hear me over the creek here in the wind. This is photography at its best. Now, some bullet points. The Rolex Explorer II polar dial, which I have now, really the best thing about it is its indestructible movement. Its legibility is second to none with this white dial. Toughness, toughness, toughness. I love the metal bezel on this watch. I can beat the heck of it, and I love the way it looks after it gets all scratched up. Few downsides. The bezel doesn't move, which is a little frustrating. I can't time long exposures with it, or I can, but it's a little bit easier with the rotating bezel, 4 or 5 minute exposure. It just helps to have that rotating bezel. Also too, I used to think I can wear this to high-end luxury formal events. It's not the best for that, and I do a lot of those with art shows, art events, fundraisers. Oh, that's looking nice. Right now I'm just getting a reflection. I'm gonna remember this moment, and I can use my watches as part of that memory. I famously say on a lot of my videos, there's this big scratch here on my Explorer 2 that I got while I was photographing a bear. One of my favorite shots of all time. Some people though disagree this is a dress watch. Rolex sports watches shouldn't be worn sometimes at these formal events. Should I worry about that? Does it take away from my art? Would someone, I'm not sure if someone would be like this, but if they saw me and they thought it was a faux pas for me to be wearing a Rolex sports watch at a high-end luxury event, would they not buy my artwork? I don't know, and that's the tough thing about it. So why not just play it safe? This is where the GMT Master 2 would be a little bit better fit for me. It's still a sports watch, but it's got that higher end, more Submariner, the acrylic bezel. It just cleans up. It looks a little bit better in a suit than a white, dialed, rugged exploring watch. Some of the downsides, well, sometimes they're upsides. The size of this watch is 42 millimeter, 50 lug to lug. It's a big watch. Sometimes I really enjoy that because every time I look at it, it feels like a tool on the wrist. It inspires me. I shouldn't be watching a movie with this watch. I should be out doing stuff, banging it up, getting some new scars on it. It's so extremely robust. It's a great movement. It's a GMT movement, which I use a lot because I travel a lot. On the other hand, when I am out traveling, I don't take my watches off. And after 3 or 4 days of wearing this nonstop, it does get a little cumbersome at this size. That's the only reason why I'm thinking about slipping to a smaller size. Also too, when I got the Rolex Explorer 40, it's actually about 38 millimeters, a little bit bigger than that, just under 39, I think, to be exact. That has changed the way I collect my watches. That watch, it loses a few things, but just comfortability. If I wear that thing 2-3 weeks straight, I can do it and not take it off. It's still that comfortable. This watch, that's its main downfall. I can't do that with this watch. It becomes uncomfortable, especially on the bracelet. I switch out the bracelet a few times. Just durability wise, I want to keep it on the bracelet mostly. That size after 3, 4, 5 days of wearing it, that's its one big downfall. It's a great thing sometimes, but other times it's just not. I got the Rolex Explorer II mainly because of its metal bezel and just sheer toughness it has. I can slam this up against a rock, I'll get a little nick. I won't crack it or anything like that. I was thinking if I did that with a ceramic bezel, before I got my Submariner, the ceramic would crack. I now know that's not true. Originally, when I wanted a GMT watch, I went for the Explorer II because the GMT Master 2 had a ceramic bezel. So I didn't take it seriously because I thought it wasn't tough enough. My Submariner with its ceramic bezel has proven me wrong. I'm not going to focus too much on the accuracy of watches throughout these trials in the way that they're all incredibly accurate, incredibly tough. This watch has been dropped a few times throughout the 3 years I've had it, and it averages about a half second fast a day through all that. And all the Rolex watches in my collection, that's why I collect Rolex watches, the toughness it's really unmatched. So moving forward, accuracy, they're all extremely accurate, extremely tough. Hopefully one of those fish down there is dinner. If today is the 13th, it's been, what, 3 or 4 days without a bath or a shower, so I think it's time for a dip. Hello and welcome to the next day. I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much for sticking around this long. I know the quality of this video is subpar. Looking at it right now, I'm dark, the background's blown out. Just please remember, I'm out here to photograph fine art photography for my gallery. It's how I make a living, by selling my art. I'm out here camping and I'm limited in the gear I can bring with me to some of these remote locations. So most of the professional gear that comes out with me is my photography gear. So just please keep that in note. And also too, the weather hasn't cooperated with us. A storm was supposed to come in. It just skirted us. So we didn't get that dramatic light like I was hoping to, which makes it a lot easier for photography and for filming. So thank you so much for sticking this long. If you want to help support this channel, remember, buy some artwork from my gallery. We are currently offering 20% off to you, our YouTube viewers, as a special thank you. At checkout, type in YouTube 20 to receive that 20% discount site-wide. Thank you again. I am a true watch enthusiast and I love taking these watches out and using them for what they were built for. Okay, so I thought about it last night in the tent. My final thoughts on the matter are, it's been a little over a week now wearing the Rolex Explorer II Polar Dial on this little adventure. And I can't say it enough how much I do truly love this watch. It's got so much sentimental value that alone might keep it in my collection. But looking at it, outside looking in, just strictly business, so to speak, this watch, it is a little uncomfortable on the wrist after these last 3 or 4 days. This week here, I've had to keep taking it off. I don't want to do that with my watches when I'll be traveling. I want to just keep it on my wrist. The smaller watches like the Rolex Explorer 40, it's so much more comfortable. I can wear that for weeks at a time without taking it off. It's still comfortable. This watch, the Rolex Explorer 2, has a lot of highlights. I personally think it's still really the last true tool watch from Rolex. It's a look back at what Rolex used to be. It's the only watch, as of filming this, doesn't have a precious metal option. It doesn't have any bells and whistles that it doesn't need. I think this is the best looking Rolex watch out there right now. It's a little silly that it could laugh at itself with this big, huge 42mm white dial. They have white gold painted black. Yes, the legibility of this watch is second to none. It's amazing, but it's interesting. It's silly to take this beautiful white gold and paint it black. But that's what's so great about the Rolex Explorer 2. It's all about functionality. So tool looking. It's the ultimate looking tool watch. especially in the polar dial. Black dial is great. My favorite is the polar dial. Such a good looking watch. I put my Rolex Explorer II through enough tribulations with water resistance that I personally would need throughout my lifestyle and what I do with this watch. I really don't foresee myself going deeper than 20 meters. For it to stay in my collection though, it's got 100 highs and 1 or 2 lows, like I've mentioned throughout this video. It's just that one low, and even if it's not that big a low, like I said, sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. It just doesn't perfectly fit into what I need. Again, if I were gonna be able to just take, 3 or 4 day trips wearing this watch and I could take it off for a few days, perfect. And it had a rotating bezel, perfect. However, that's not the case. That's not what I need it for. I need a watch I can wear non-stop, not to let it leave my wrist, because I don't want to leave a watch back in the hotel room. I don't want to leave it in the truck. I don't want to leave it at the campsite. Even if I'm still there, this day and age, you never know. So I need a watch I can always keep on my wrist. We'll have to see. I'm going to test out the Rolex Explorer 40 and the Submariner on something similar to this. This is day 6 or 7 on this excursion. It's been fine. Photography hasn't been the greatest. We haven't got the weather. I got a great shot last night of this waterfall. I'm really excited about that shot. Other than that, it's been a hit and miss kind of trip. The watch is amazing. It's excellent. This is the toughest Rolex watch. I truly believe that. I love the way it looks, the dents it takes on the metal bezel, the scratches. I love that. That's why, I'll keep telling you how much I love this watch. It just doesn't quite perfectly fit into what I need. No watch will. But comfortability, having a comfortable watch should be a little bit higher on the list. So we'll have to see. Maybe the Submariner, I'm interested to see. This is a 42 millimeter, the Submariner's 41. That is a little bit more of a comfortable watch. However, I haven't worn, I guess I have actually worn that for 7, 8 days straight and it doesn't really bother me. Still though, the Rolex Explorer 40 is sheer comfort with that small little size. And that's why I think the GMT Master 2 will meet that a little bit better and be a little bit more comfortable than this watch. Either way though, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget, we're offering 20% off right now currently at our online store. Get 20% off my award-winning artwork. Type in YouTube 20 at checkout to receive that discount. Limited time, I think we're doing it a week or 2 more, maybe not even that. Check it out now. Thanks again. Cheers. That's something I didn't expect to see while I was up here. Beaver's Dam at 8,000 feet. I didn't think they lived this high up. Interesting.